Hi guys, I'm out for a walk in the beautiful Northumbrian countryside and a possible overnighter. I've got my day pack and I've got a few minimal items, small tarp and a bivy, sleeping bag, enough food for 24 hours, and if I find a nice spot I may camp the night, but it's not really the sort of place I would have come in the first place. It's not exactly hills and mountains and, you know, beautiful. You know, some of the places I go to was quite nice. This is I'm kind of used to this, even though it is nice. And it's great for a day out for a walk and that. But I'm here for a slightly different reason to just camping for the scenery. I was contacted by a guy, he watches my channel, and he's seen some of my videos and he recognised the area. It's in an area where he works on a farm. And we got talking and I said, do you see anything strange up here? And he says, he saw like a tall dark figure about 7 foot in the field one day, or during like getting dark, it was dusk. So I got talking, and then later on he opened up a bit more and he says he's seen it in the yard as well. I thought, that was a bit of a red flag at that point, because he said threw a hammer at him. And I thought, why did he not mention that in the first place? But then I thought, it seems so far out, it's a bit like aliens landing in the back garden. You're not going to tell people. If you see something in the distance, like a UFO in the distance, you think, I've seen this UFO, you know, but to see something so close up, it's so far out, who would believe you anyway? So you would kind of hold back on that. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, the lad seems sincere. And he says, he went in the yard and he's seen the tall dark figure, it was about 7 foot. But he says he's had an activity in the past. He says it's not all the time. He says other farmers are getting it as well, sheep are going missing. They've had chickens and corn go missing. Sheep. I said sheep, didn't I? He's had tools get taken, and then he's finding them in odd places, just scattered around. So there's something going on here, and it's like, before I got into all this, I thought, it's a load of rubbish, this. Until I started hearing stories of other people through my channel, mainly because I watch my videos. One guy was camping it up at Crocodile and he had a titanium kettle crushed. And there was nobody else around. There was no cattle like horses or cows in the field or anything. And another guy who was camping up Thornton Wood, he heard noises, he went out to investigate, and when he got back his tent was messed with. So it's puzzling. This farm worker, he doesn't want to be identified. He says, I can tell his story and I'm going to meet him, so I know he's genuine, because I'm going to the farm where he gets all this activity. So you're not going to invite ridicule, are you? You're not going to broadcast it if it's a lie. If he doesn't want the attention, he doesn't want fame, he doesn't want the limelight. So why is he doing it for? Because he wants his story to be heard. He wants to show me, and maybe it's for me to tell his story, but not, you know, but not to get kind of like laughed at. You know, laugh at me if you want. It doesn't bother me, because I'm just seeking answers. I've got thick skin. I'm not bothered. But it's puzzling. You know, I could go on all day about what I found. You know, the sheep remains up trees. You know, the snap branches. Some of them like a W-shaped, thicker than any strong person could snap. That's what looked like a footprint. Maybe it's 2 footprints that I've found, but it's other guys as well. Like I've said, they've seen things. They've all run off. They must have heard stories about us. I know where to go if I get lonely in the night. I really need to be looking for somewhere around here if I'm going to camp. There's a stream just down there, you know, there's a water source. there's a few trees in here. I'm on a bit of a hill, so, but if, you know, I will get a bit of wind, but the wind isn't going to be very much anyway, and it drops by on an evening anyway, so I think here's probably the best place. As long as I don't get any hassle. If I wait till it's really late, you know, when it starts to get dark, put me tarp up. I've got my silt tarp one, which is only 7.5 feet by 5, so it's a small area. You know, I'm not going to get spotted. That's why you've got to be so careful where you camp, because you can't really camp anywhere. Technically, wild camping is illegal in Britain unless you've got permission of the landowner. You know, even though I'm on a public right of way, you still can't camp here. Although it's illegal, technically it's illegal, it's tolerated in many places, not all places. But if you arrive late and leave early and leave no trace, you shouldn't really have a problem. And just be respectful of the countryside. Don't light fires, don't go daft destroying things, cutting down trees, that sort of thing. I think this place is it. Got a few trees for cover. There's pheasants everywhere. And I think this bird feeder will attract some attention if there's anything sneaking around in the night. As you can see, I mean, the track's fresh. At some point he's going to come up here. So actually camping in this bit of woodland here, if you want to call it a woodland, it's tiny, it's probably a bad idea. I like a bit of a lie in the morning, you know, at least 8, 9 o'clock. I don't like to be awake too early. He's on his rounds, so you know, it's sod's law. You get set up and then he's going to come over the horizon there on his quad and I'm going to get spotted. And I'm actually on the walker's path, so I've got an excuse to be here. And you know, walkers do get lost when it gets dark. And the golden rule, if it's getting dark and you're lost, don't walk any farther. Just stay put till it gets light again the next day. Because denial is a funny thing. You think, oh, you know, I think I might know where I am. I keep on walking that way. And then all the time you're in denial. It's got to be that way. I'm sure it's that way. You know, and all the time you're walking farther away from you should be. So, you know, I'm going to play the part of the lost hiker, stuck in this tiny little woodland or whatever you want to call it. Hang out with the birds, hang out with the pigeons and the pheasants and the sheep. The sheep are just over there to keep us company. Dolly and Flossie and a few of our mates. I'm gonna snuggle in warm. If it gets too cold, I'll snuggle in with them later. But they ran off when they seen us, so they probably heard things about us that's not very nice. So, although I should just get some food on the go. A bit peckish. I've just been eating jerky and nuts and raisins and dried fruit, and it's sort of like took the hunger away a little bit. I'll get a meal gun. You know, it makes sense. Right, I'm going to have me lunch, or me tea I should say. I'm going to have Kerala chicken curry. It's a new one. It's a bit like, look what we found meals. Very similar. Got it from Aldi. I think it was $1.99. And I got some rice to go with it. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to cut the top of the bag, put the rice in the bag, put that into my Crusader cup and boil it in some water. We heat it up in some water. I can then use the water for a coffee, and I eat my meal out of this, so there's no washing up. Right. I've got the old buddy burners. For those of you who haven't seen the buddy burners, all they are is a mixture of melted wax and paper in a toilet roll tube. The trick is to get the right amount of wax to paper, because you need the paper to act as a bit of a wick. Too much wax in there, they don't burn very well. So basically you've got to get it just right. And I think I used too much wax on this one, to be honest with you. And all I'm doing is just warming this up, because everything's cooked, and it's just a case of taking the chill off it, because really you can even eat it cold. And I'll put the rice just straight into there, in the bag. Less mess, less hassle. And it's slapped in there. Something's just nice just to keep it simple. A small stove, a boil in the bag, you know. Just don't have to cook on open fires all the time and practice survival skills, that sort of thing. I suppose this is my version of glamping. Maybe it's only got an hour or so before the sun goes down. And it's funny how the birds start to sing now when it's like nearly time to go to bed. It's as if they're calling their mates to come join them, flocking up to sleep together in the trees. But that's only just happened the last 20 minutes or so. They've just started singing, and it's like the evening chorus. And every now and again I can hear a pheasant in the distance. It's actually a beautiful place, this. And even though that water's not boiling, it's hot enough to get a drink from. And that buddy burner's just about out, so I'm not going to put another one on. My meal's warm through, that's the important thing. £1.99 from Aldi. Quite nice. No washing up, no mess. Can even eat them cold. I'm just going to sit at this oak tree, and I'm going to have just to sit here for an hour or so. Wait till it gets dark, put my tarp and that up then. Just scan the area, see if I can see anything. Loads of animals. You know, if there was a predator living here, they wouldn't be short of food, that's for sure. See, them horses are watching us. See, one of them's on its way over. I must be at its favourite spot, its favourite tree. Hello? You coming over? They're very inquisitive. I'm not going to hang around here because they might stampede us. They might think I've got them a carrot or something. I've got a bit of beef jerky. Yeah, I'm not going to encourage them. Well, it's 6 o'clock in the evening and it's starting to get dark, so I'm going to unpack my bag. I'll show you what I've brought. There's been one or two people asking what kit I take, and to be honest with you, it does change. It varies depending on where I'm going. But if it's not bushcraft, if it's like just like backpacking and or an overnighter somewhere, and or maybe I'm just doing a long distance walk and I might fancy staying out overnight, I tend to be more minimal. You know, the stuff I take is more minimalistic. I've got the Sarah 35 backpack. I can get my cook kit in there, you know, like a small cook kit, you know what I mean? Like my Crusader, I've just cooked on my Crusader mug and that can go in there. And on the other side, believe it or not, I've got my shelter system in there. Fits in that side pouch there, and I'll show you that. Got a bag of cordage. I've got my tarp. Just look at it, man. Look at the size of the pop can. It's around about 7.5 foot by 4'9". So really compact, lightweight. You can just put that in your pocket, or just inside your coat pocket, that sort of thing. And what I've got in here as well, and I've got my tent peg. So basically I've got a complete shelter system, consisting of tarp, the cordage to put it up, and my tent pegs. I'll show you the sleep system. So basically I've got my sleeping bag, which is a Vango Venoms 300, which was it's only a 3-season sleeping bag, and it's good to go down. It's got a limit of -12, but that's, I wouldn't go off that. That's more like, you know, it'll keep you alive for a few hours, then you get hypothermia. Its comfort rating is 0 degrees Celsius, and it's also got a comfort rating of 4 degrees Celsius, but I believe that's for the woman's comfort rating, is different to a man's. It's good to go down to about a couple of degrees above freezing, then you start to feel the cold. And I've got my Thermarest Pro Light, which is okay for, you know, like for summer use. In the winter you do need a little bit more, you know, insulation from the ground, and that's where this comes in. Survival blanket. Now, if I was to, because my Thermarest Pro Light, it's not very thick, and if it is sort of like winter camping, you do need something extra to keep you warm, to insulate you from the cold. With hindsight, I should have gotten the Hunter Large instead of the Hunter Small, because I would like to have gotten me sleeping mat inside there, and it wouldn't have been much bigger to get the large, you know, hardly anything in it. And what I could have done is obviously put that inside, and it would have been a bit more of a microclimate. I would feel a lot warmer, because as it stands, I'm in my sleeping bag, in my bivy, but I'm lying on top of my mat, which is on the outside, and you do feel the cold a little bit more. But I mean, have a look. As far as minimal gear goes, sleep system, shelter system, that's not there. And everything fits in a 35 litre backpack, and I find that this is like what works best for me, especially for like minimal camping. Yeah, I'm getting bloody freaked out here. For a minute there I thought there was someone behind us. I'm bringing 1 or 2 extra things with us today, so I haven't got my usual Maxpedition bag. I can get a bit more stuff in here. I've got my torch, which it's got that ball joint there, which fits onto my tripod, and swivels around, so I've got plenty of light for nighttime filming. I've got my trail cam. I'm going to put that up somewhere. Probably watching the bird feeder, I'm not really sure, or maybe he's watching me, in case something sneaks up on us in the night. And I've got my audio recorder, the Zoom H6, and it's got the different microphones for it as well. I use the XY mic, because of that attachment you can put different ones on for different occasions. But this fantastic bit of kit. It's the big brother of the H4, the H4N. It's got a little bit. It's got much better. Is it preamps? Much more sensitive, better gain on it. And it's got like a. I'm not really sure what I think I've got it at 120 degrees. It can switch from 90 degrees to 120 degrees, so you've got more of an arc at 120 degrees. So it's a fantastic bit of kit. And I've picked up loads of things with this. And there's always the dawn chorus, you know, you can hear the birds there now. Probably the last sing song before they go to bed. That just clicks into there you go. And I normally have it up on 10. And because it's so sensitive, there was loads of stuff I was picking up but was spoilt because of the recording of me snoring. It was actually quite funny, you know, hearing myself snoring for the first time, because I thought all that was just taking the mickey. You know, I thought it was just pulling my leg, which says I snore all the time, but apparently I do, and I've got the proof. But there you go, I've got the windshield on there, and that can be, although it's not forecast to rain, I will knock up, I've got a couple of bin liners, I'll knock up a little mini tarp. And I'll put it right over there in that corner of this little forest, this little woodland. So it's far enough away from me so I'm not going to hear myself snoring. All I've got to do now is find a good stick so I can do some knocks and see if there's anything there responds. And I know I'm going to get some stick off YouTube, I always do, but hey, I've done knocks in the past, I'm getting responses. I'm going to sit over in that corner where that oak tree is, and I'm just going to scan the horizon for activity, listen for strange goings on, see if I can see anything, hear anything, record anything. Crappy stick. I think it's up the mud tree. Do another knock. Try a whoop. Whoop! 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 Right, we'll get this bad boy fired up. I'm in the right mode. Well, that's my camp set up. I'll give you a quick look. I've gone for a bit of a lean-to. Still plenty of room under there. I've used the old prusik knots there to pull that tight. I've got the centre of the tarp kind of pulled back, you know, gives a bit extra room inside, and on the other side done the same. Prusik knots, you know, keeps everything nice and taut. The guy lines I've just tied simple taut line hitches. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of room under there, and I'm in my bivy, so there's no way I'm going to get wet, even if it, you know, the rain decided to come down heavy and sort of blowing in from the side. I'm well protected. I've got a bit of a porch here, and as you can see, I've got my space blanket inside between my sleeping bag and my bivy. It just gives that little bit extra warmth, especially when we prolight. It's not the warmest, mind. I mean, look at that, how thick that is. Maybe it's 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Great for summer use, but you know, when it's early spring and it's still cold, you do need a little bit extra protection. If you've only got a 3-season sleeping bag and you know the weather's going to be really cold, you know, putting something like a survival blanket in, a space blanket, or even an extra layer of clothing, you know, it will make the difference. I haven't got a 4-season sleeping bag, you know, the weather in the UK never gets really that cold anyway. And you know, I think in all the years I've been camping and that, I think the coldest it's getting is -6. You know, we do get some harsh winters, but you know, I'm not one for going out in the harshest of conditions. And it's not like I'm camping up in the Cairngorms in the, you know, the north of Scotland and that. For where I live, it's reasonably mild. I'm in a coastal area. You know, like I said, it rarely gets down to minus. It's never ever getting below -10 in my lifetime. So, I mean, my sleeping bag's good to go down to 0 degrees Celsius. And tonight it will get close to that. So as a precaution, I've put the space blanket in there, and it does up the R value of your sleep system, and you do, and it's a little bit warmer. Ooh. Well, I'm in my bivvy, and I'm just listening for things. I heard something weird before. It was like a bunch of dogs, pack of dogs. It was like they're like barking or squabbling or something weird. I'll edit it in at some point if I can find where it is on the audio. The audio recorder is about, you know, I think 50 metres over there somewhere. I've tried to keep it as far away from me as I can, because I don't want me snoring, because it will pick it up. It's so sensitive. Even though I'm behind the microphone, it still picks stuff up. It's weird. It's supposed to be directional, but sound bounces off trees, so you are gonna get it is gonna pick it up. But it's surprisingly warm. It's weird. There's owls. I hear the owls, and I can hear like the odd pheasant. It's weird, because pheasants are supposed to go to sleep out when it's dark, unless they're getting spooked by something. I keep hearing something moving around, but I think it's the horses galloping around, chasing each other and that. So my imagination's playing tricks with us again. So field recorder set up, you know, the audio recorder, and a trail camera set up, watching that bird feeder. So it might come along and scoop some grain out, you never know, and I'm going to capture it. I wish I had another trail camera, because I would like one on this tent, on my tarp, on me, just in case out happens, and the forensics people come to find out what happened to us, and they find a broken trail camera, but the memory card's still intact, and here's me getting dragged off by a hairy creature, never to be seen again. Talking shite again, but never mind. I'm not going to switch back on. I'm going to switch off and go to sleep, or listen, I should say, till I fall asleep. And I'll switch back on if something interesting happens. If something doesn't happen, then I'll not switch back on, and you'll see us on YouTube. And now I'm talking through my arse again. So, I'm in my bivvy. I'll give you a quick look. Just a little lean-to. Nothing special. It doesn't have to be nothing elaborate, just to keep the rain off you. And any little splashes of rain that does get on us, it's just going to run off. It's no worse when you're trying to record stuff and there's the wind or the rain, and it just spoils it. But tonight it's just eerily silent, apart from the odd aeroplane flying over. More tea, Vicar. So I'm just going to switch off, and because basically I'm just boiling the batteries, and I'm just eating up the memory card, taking through my backside. So unless I hear or see something worth talking about, I'm just going to switch off, and you'll see us all tomorrow morning if I'm still here. Right, good night. I'll see you all tomorrow. Morning. Well, I didn't encounter anything unusual last night, although I did hear a few strange sounds. And when I get the audio recorder home, I'll have a listen. And if there's anything worth putting on the video, I'll put it on. But what a nice place. It was the birds chirping that woke us up, and a bit of a sore back as well, because the pro-light mat, it's not really thick enough. It's a little bit uncomfortable, so I get a lot of pains in the hip when I use that mat. It's probably old age as well, like, but never mind, I survived. But I'll give you a quick look at my setup and then I'll get away, because I keep hearing bangs and it's probably the farmer with his gun, and I don't want to get caught in the crossfire. So as you can see, it was just a bit of a lean-to, and I've got the old ridgeline tied along there with the Siberian hitch, which is a quick release knot. The other side of the ridgeline is a tarp hitch. You know, it's the same thing, it's just a quick release. So the thing is with tarps, you know, you can have them anywhere you want. There's loads of different configurations. Tent camping, it tends to be like one pitch all the time, and it's a bit boring. But with tarps, you can, you know, depend on your mood, depend on the situation, you can have any configuration. As you know, you're limited by imagination, really. And that setup there, it's simple, and as long as you're in a bivvy, you're not going to get wet unless it's, you know, drive and rain. You know, that sort of shelter is adequate. A nice fast and light shelter. It's a good system for lightweight backpacking, or even just camping in general. If you want a, you know, a minimal setup. Well, I'll get packed up now and I'll get away, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.